Hi, everyone. I'm Nicole Huckabee, and welcome to Conversations with Nicole. My guest today is award winning actor, writer, and director Pat Dortch. He's worked on TV shows like Stranger Things, Atlanta, Will Trent, The Underground Railroad, MacGyver, and House of Cards, and on films like Pain Hustlers. He is also the force behind the Dortch Acting Studio in Charlotte, North Carolina. His experience in film, television, and stage is off the charts. He is so talented and just an all around great guy. Now, if you want to learn more about Pat Dortch and the Dortch Acting Studio, just visit dortchactingstudio.com. I hope you enjoy our conversation. Let's get started. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Conversations with Nicole. I'm delighted to have as my guest today Pat Dortch. He's an award winning actor, writer, and director, and the owner of Dortch Acting Studio in Charlotte, North Carolina. Pat, good to see you, my friend.
It's good to see you too. It's been a while.
Listen, I am excited to have you as my guest today. Talk a little bit about your history growing up and how you kind of came into this world of television and acting.
Okay. Well, I loved entertaining and acting when I was in high school and was in bands in college. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. You can't swing a dead cat without hitting somebody in a band. So I played around the Southeast a little bit. And then when I got out of college, I decided I needed to try to get a real job. So I was actually out of the entertaining of any sort until I hit like early 40s. And that's when I came back to it. I actually had a custom furniture company of all things, and the economy just crushed us, and so I closed it up and got super depressed, and decided a good way to shake it up would be to go back to doing some creative things I loved, and took some acting classes, and the next thing I know, I had an agent. The next thing I know, I was Army Wives. So there you go. It just kind of went. So, and then started teaching myself. The guy that ran the studio, JD Lewis, had me start teaching some teen classes, and then from there I started teaching adults. And eventually he moved back to California, and I kept teaching, and now I have the studio here. And I've
Well,
kept acting the whole time. It's been a really amazing journey, honestly. It's been pretty incredible. So
you have quite the resume. I mean, you've been on shows like Stranger Things, Atlanta, Will Trent, The Underground Railroad, MacGyver, House of Cards, one of my favorites, and recently Pain Hustlers. So good.
that was great.
Talk about the experiences that you have had in this business. Incredible.
It's been amazing. And the people that I've met along the way have just absolutely been incredible. I've got a Lifetime movie coming out with Melissa Joan Hart in it, and she was just awesome. We hit it off great. I got to work with Francis Ford Coppola on Megalopolis. Now, rumor has it, and it's a pretty reliable source, that my scenes got cut. So I'll have to see when it comes out. But that's part of the deal. It's what you sign up for. That happens more than you'd like to know. It's all part of it. The heartbreak's all part of it. But that's I still have the experience. I got to work with Shia LaBeouf on that, and he was great. We had a blast. It's just been it's been amazing.
Talk about, for me personally, I loved House of Cards. Talk about what it was like to be on that set.
So House of Cards was great. That was a really strange time for the series when I got signed on. It was right before Kevin Spacey blew everything up. Um,
Yes.
and so it's another heartbreaking story. I went from episodes that I was supposed to be in the final season that got cut down to two because they had to rewrite everything, and the season shrunk. I'll tell you though, I got to meet Diane Lane on the show, and we didn't even have a scene with each other. And she was getting ready to leave. I was working late. She was done. And, she just She was sitting in the front seat of a big black SUV getting ready to leave set. And I walked past and she said, "Well, have a good night." And I said, "You too." And then I just started talking with her because I was like, when am I going to see Diane Lane again? And
Was
she was so genuinely warm. I mean, that's the one thing that's been amazing to me is everybody I've met has just, you mentioned Pain Hustlers, David Yates that directed Pain Hustlers. He directed most of the Harry Potter stuff, and he's great, and he's English, and so he'd always talk to me like, "All right, Pat, let's go into the. What do you think that this person's name should be?" And you know, it was just he was fantastic, and Chris Evans was a super sweet guy, and it's just been, you know, the journey's just been fantastic.
Do you feel though that you've been lucky with those experiences? Do you feel like that's the norm because you speak so positively about these really famous people that we all know about and love, or is that the exception to the rule? What do you feel? I mean, obviously your experiences have been good, but what about the business may be true or not true that we think it would be like?
Well, that's a great question. I think you get back what you put out. So, you know, I don't really get the starstruck thing at all. But I also have found that I think that the people that are really good at this, that have been doing this a long time, that are really well known, like Francis Ford Coppola, they tend to I think they know that if you're coming in and you're only going to be there for a day or two, that, you know, you're probably going to be a little bit nervous because you're the new kid. And they tend to, from my experience, they tend to go out of their way to welcome you. They expect you to do your job and do it well. But I think that they tend to go out of their way to welcome you, to make sure that your path is easier and, you know, you feel more comfortable doing your work, and then that way they get the best work out of you. But
I
um,
love that though, and I was thinking the same thing. If you're more comfortable, they get the better product, so it's a win-win. But it's nice to
it's
hear
not,
that people
yeah,
treat you that way.
yeah. And I've been, you know, I'm knock on wood, I'm sure that there's going to come a point where a director blows up about something or whatever. But honestly, it's probably because he's under tons of stress to get things done on time, done well, under budget, which is pretty much able. And you know, you just kind of have to roll with it. Everybody communicates differently. If somebody's having a bad day, they're probably gonna be a little edgy, but
Yeah.
they just got to take it the way it comes and work through it. So, but so far, yes, I've been insanely fortunate. Yeah, everybody's been
And of course, you do the work to get there, but you also, I would think, have to have a thick skin. As you were saying, you're going to be turned down, your scenes may get dropped. I mean, there are a lot of things that could happen that really don't boost you up, but sort of can deflate you. So if you want to stay in this business, you've got to be prepared for a lot of no's and a lot of disappointment and be thankful for the highs and the yeses, I would think.
well, and the way you think about things is will determine whether or not you stay sane. So you get an audition, like everybody thinks, you know, uh, you ask for an audition, you get an audition. Well, that's not the way it works. You like, for instance, uh, like I was on Nashville, and the casting director explained it to me. He was like, "Okay, look, 1,000 people wanted to audition for this. We only look at 100 tapes. So if you think of it that way, if you just get an audition, you're in the top 10%. So if you and then if you get sent to produce, it's, you know, pretty amazing. And then if you book, it's incredible. And if you think of it that way, as opposed to, well, I keep auditioning and I'm not getting
You
anything. Well, if
get
you're
no's.
auditioning, you know, that's amazing. If you're it means your agent's working for you. It means casting directors want to see you. That's huge. So, if you base everything on booking, you're in trouble. It's going to be really hard.
That's great advice. That is great advice. And as you know, I have tried to dabble into this world of acting and I've gotten a lot of auditions, but I am not an actress. When I audition, they probably go, she's not as good as I thought she was going to be." But to at least have gotten the opportunity is a blessing to keep trying because there's so much. There's just so many people that are wanting to do what you
Yeah.
do so well these days. And a lot of it has to do with the technology and the access to be able to do it because so many things are done online and you don't have to physically show up for that casting, which
Right.
is old school. And you don't have to do that anymore. You just virtually send in your like self, tape audition. So a lot has changed and more people are getting into it. So when you do get those roles, wow, that is a big deal.
It's a huge deal, yeah. And the technology has been a blessing too because like the callback for Pain Hustlers with David Yates, well, he was in England. Like he was sitting in his office in London, and so he zoomed me in for the callback, and he had me bring a reader in with me for to work opposite of. And so here's David Yates on my computer screen.
You're
It's
like,
so cool,
grab,
man. And
grab.
so fabulous. Um, but yeah, it was great. And then when I got done, you're like, "Hey, that was it. That was the scene, mate. We'll see you in Atlanta." It was. I mean, it was. You can't beat that. It was incredible.
I just love all of your stories. And I love the fact that you were absent from acting for so long and that, a little later in life, you go, I'm going to try this again. I'm going to get back into it. You've been so successful. I just totally admire you. And I'm just in awe. First of all, you're so dang talented. I mean,
Thank you.
all the accents you do and just the time that I spent with you one on one for a few lessons, I was like, how does he do that? He's so good. But talk a little bit more about your experiences. Any cool experiences on some of the sets?
Oh yeah. I mean, again, it's mostly the people, but uh, like Jimmy Smits was unbelievably friendly when I came on set. He was on the makeup trailer, and I was. Um, on Will Trent, I don't know if you've seen the Will Trent episode. Will Trent's a phenomenal show, and I was really um, I was glad for the booking anyway. But then when I got on set, it was just an amazing group of people. Howie Deutsch directed it, and he's been around forever. And he had me working with dogs, which was great. So I had these two big Doberman pinchers, and I come down in a scene, and they're like just going nuts. And then right at the top of the scene when we're starting the scene, and so after the first take, I called Howie over. We're on first name basis. I call Howie
Yeah.
over, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah, hey Howie, come on, let me ask you something. And I called the dog trainer over, and I was like, hey, look, if I yell shut up, can you give them a signal to stop barking so that I'm like commanding the dogs in the middle of the scene? And she goes, you know what? If you say shut up enough to mean it, I bet they do. I was like, okay. And Howie just goes, I love that idea. Let's get another one. So next take, I came down the steps and they're going crazy, crazy, crazy. And I just yelled, shut up. And they both got quiet and sat. It was the coolest thing. I was like, these are the best co-stars ever. So that's actually the take you see when you're watching the scene on Will Trent. But it's stuff like that. You just can't. I mean, it's just magic. It's awesome.
It is magic. And you have to be the funniest guy on set. No wonder people love you. You really are funny.
Well,
You know
thank you.
that, right?
Actually, oddly enough, people. So I'm gonna tell something about myself.
Okay.
So people are all, oh yeah, Pat's really method. He's once he's in his character, he's in his character. But the truth of the matter is, I'm just afraid to come out of my character because then I'm afraid I won't be able to get back in. So, so if my character, and I tend to like, I find music that I think my character might listen to, and I tend to put my headphones in and listen to that.
Really?
In between takes. So like on Will Trent, like we all got along great, but like in between takes, it's not like I was hanging out with them because I was listening to Leonard Skinner in my set while I was in between sets, I mean in between takes. So yeah, it before and after, that sort of thing, but in between takes there's not a whole lot of, I mean, for me at least, it works best if I'm not hanging out, cutting out. So yeah.
Well, you are just a lot of fun to be with. So it's too bad they don't see all of that side of you because it's great. Okay, so I have a question for you. I've seen Pain Hustlers as we talked about. I loved it. And
Great.
played, yeah, so good. You played a doctor,
Mhm.
kind of a doctor that was taking it like weak.
Yeah,
You're a little weak. You're a little
yeah,
weak. And
yeah, yeah.
so what were you listening to then? They got you.
Oh,
They grilled you.
oh,
They grilled
okay.
you
So,
and
so,
that.
so, so that was a little different. So, I'm not giving too much away.
Yeah, don't give it all away.
Uh, he had some vices. So I just had to I didn't really have a song list for him so much because he was a little bit more trying to figure things out
Yeah,
and kind of he's on the take a little bit and he
a little
was
bit.
a little bit and he was nervous and kind of a introverted but being
Yeah.
forced into this world a little bit and that was crazy. I was so not to give too much away, but I was at home on a Sunday and I got a call from one of the producers of Paint Hustlers. I'd already filmed, I've been down there a couple times. And I get a call and it's one of the associate producers and he's like, "Hey, listen, David thinks that you should come down and do a strip club scene with us. You think you could do me and Chris Evans?" And I was like, yeah, I could do that. When you want me down? I mean, let's think real hard about this. And so they sit me down on a Wednesday to go hang out in a strip club and shoot it. It was the craziest. It was insane. It was nuts. Yeah. Yeah.
I
That's
forgot. You gotta
that's
leave
what
me
my mom's
speechless.
listening to this going, "I really wish you'd stop talking."
Oh, see, it's stories like that for days. That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, so what's on the horizon for you? I mean, obviously, your acting studio is hot. I mean, you guys have something going on there all the time. It's just a magical place for people who want to work on this profession, refine their craft, and really work on their talents.
Really, honestly, the studio exists because I think that, we need a place where people can have a real sense of community and feel like they can take risks and fail. I mean, that's the best way I can think.
I get it. I
That's the
took a risk and failed,
There
but
you
I'll be
go. That's right, and you'll be back. And that's it's like if I mean, I've got some insanely talented actors here. Like
You do.
it's crazy. And I've got a couple that are on set right now that study here. And I could tell you where, but I'm not allowed to. Um but if they can come in here and do something really bold and not, and feel like they completely flubbed up and we all pick them up and dust them off and say, "Hey man, that was great. Here's take two. Way to be
Yeah,
brave,"
yeah.
That's what it's here for. And so because of that, the people that are here, the artists that are here, it's just an amazing community of support. It's fantastic. So I love it. I mean, I can't even begin to put it into words how grateful I am
Yeah.
for the studio.
It's
And
wonderful, by the way.
it's great. I love it. And then it also allows me to, it's like my wife's always saying, you're the best thing that you could possibly do for your students is be on set. So even when I have to last minute go, "Hey guys, this Wednesday's class is going to be taught by my dear friend Joanna Jowett at C&J Casting because I've got to be down in Atlanta or Charleston or wherever it is I got to be." They love that because it's just me leading by example and going, "Hey, look, man, this is doable," you
Yeah.
know. So being able to do my thing and have the studio is definitely, the cake and eating it too. There's no two ways about it. I've been fortunate enough to be on a few projects this year so far, so I really can't complain. It's been, it's been a pretty great journey so far.
Maybe you should just start sending me little nuggets and I'll put it out on all of my socials. Pat Dortch alert, Pat Dortch alert, Pat Dortch alert, so that when you're coming, I will know where to find you. How about that?
That
Kind
sounds
of like a
good.
little character, a little Pat Dortch.
I'm here for it.
And what does success look like? I guess it can actually look very differently depending on your life, and what you want to do with it. Not everyone is going to be at the level of, a Jennifer Aniston or whomever. I mean, here you are in Charlotte, North Carolina. You have a studio, but you've done incredible projects. So, what does it take to succeed at whatever level that you choose?
I think that the way you put it was 100%. It's everybody's idea of success, especially in this realm, is different.
Yeah.
Somebody might just want to get over the fear of of getting in front of a group of people and putting a scene up. First time you do it, it's terrifying.
It's
It is
terrifying.
terrifying. So, and that might be a huge, hurdle for somebody. Somebody else might be looking for an agent and they want to, eventually move to LA. Um, it takes work, it takes sacrifice, and it takes a lot of understanding of and how much you can handle.
Yeah.
Because it is, there are times where, I'm consider myself extremely, and I'm unbelievably grateful. But if I told you that there was never days where I was like, just couldn't seem to get out of bed because of the latest news I've had. I mean, I found out that I was probably most likely cut from Megalopolis. And then like 4 days later, I was literally on the way to set for a very popular show. And on the way to set, they were like, yeah, that scene's been cut. So like, but I was literally halfway there in my car driving. I was an hour away, 2 hour and a half away, and had to turn around and come back. That was in 1 week. Now it was a recurring role, so I'd already filmed before and I got paid anyway. But that's not the point.
Yeah.
So,
You
but
wanna work, you wanna do it. You were meant to
yeah,
do, not just get paid for going halfway and coming back. Yeah.
yeah. But you got to figure out a way to keep going. And the way that I keep going is, this is going to sound really backwards, but my next disappointment is going to be huge because all my wins keep getting bigger.
It's true.
So, yeah. So if
Level of
there's more,
expectation, right?
yeah, well, and the level you're playing at,
Yeah.
if, I get the lead for a film and then the film gets scrapped and it was, with a major direct, it's just everything levels up. So as long as my disappointments keep getting bigger, I know my wins are going to get bigger too. It
It's
just
true.
all makes room for each other. And if I don't think about it that way, I'll never get out of bed.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's where you got to figure out a mechanism. So, yeah.
Yes, and I think that's where the success is really based on yourself and what you want to achieve, and then keeping it in perspective like that is very good advice, so,
Yeah.
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 Well, listen, we're out of time, or otherwise we would just talk for days, and I could because we love to
And
chat.
I can too.
We
So,
just banter, banter, banter. I know it. I'm gonna put you on the spot.
okay.
Give me, uh, a character, if you could, one of your favorites, the whole talk, the whole mannerisms. Is there something, a character you can give me right now that my audience would love, or one that you've just really loved to do that you can just do off the cuff?
You mean something I've done?
Yeah.
Okay. I've never been shot. Drowned, hung, beaten, stabbed, burned. But never shot. Burning's the worst. It's like they're filling your lungs up with smoke. You feel it burning, suffocating. That's what they did to Joni. There you go.
What was that from?
That was from a pilot I wrote. That's a character named Turlock Orion. Turlock Orion. Everybody calls me Terry.
Oh my gosh, that was good.
Oh, thanks. There
Bravo.
you go. Yay. Thanks,
Someone
Fred.
call him, get that one produced. Oh gosh, Pat, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for joining me. Folks can find you at on all your socials, but online, dortchactingstudio.com.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
That'd be the best way.
That'd be great.
And just keep your eyes on all devices, on your television, all streaming platforms for Pat George to show up. I love
That's
it.
like a plan. I'll try to be there.
I know you will. All right, my friend. Well, it's good to see you. Thank you
Good
again.
seeing you. Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
It's a lot of fun. And that will do it for this edition of Conversations with Nicole. Until I see you again, I hope you have a great day.